welcome to another edition on the Love Bay Afrobeats Music Talk Radio, and another edition of the England Roger Sports Hour. And Roger, sorry about that. Oh wow,
That's all right. Lots
yeah,
going on.
a lot's
Lots. I
going on
see
and
the
stuff.
excitement is just bubbling
Yeah,
up. You can't
it
even get the
is.
words
You
out.
can't get the words out. Yeah, but a lot's happening in sports. From track and field, cricket, NBA, tennis, ho- um, a new car for Hamilton. What's going to happen this week?
That's a rumor that they've been talking about for
Yeah,
months.
you
He's
know,
begging for
so
one, though. He's begging
yeah,
for one.
so there's so much happening, Roger, in sports that but nice weather outside and
Awesome weather.
how good weekend again looks like for us.
Yeah, it looks like a great weekend, and welcome everyone to the show. And I'm telling you, man, you look outside yesterday, it was really hot. Today it's a little more manageable. So it's a beautiful day outside in Toronto. So I think we're just going to have fun on the radio and then we're going to go outside and enjoy the sun. But this is an amazing weekend for sports. So much going on, Ingle. Everywhere you look, I know you're a big tennis fan, so maybe we could probably start off with talking a little bit about
Yeah,
that. And how do you think that is going? I see, our little
uh,
Canadian lady. She has stepped up.
Andrescu.
Yeah, for the
Yeah,
first time in her career, she's
yeah.
in the third round.
She,
So
yeah, she's in the third round now. Whenever she's not injured, she's such a fantastic player.
exactly, not so great on the clay. So I'm a little
No,
surprised to see
yeah,
what she's
surprised
doing.
where she's gotten to in the clay.
Yeah,
Yes,
but she certainly
but
stepped up and really proud of her, from Mississauga. Just you live in Mississauga, so,
yeah, close
yeah,
by.
from your neighborhood.
Disappointed in some of the Canadians, but Andreska's
Yes,
really stepping up.
she is.
She has surprised. The biggest surprise for me was to see um Felix going out in the first round.
Yeah, they said something about him not sleeping the night before and blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah blah. But I mean, I can't understand you come all the way here in a major and start having these mishaps. So he
yeah,
wasn't prepared. He came in looking sort of injured to me anyway. So
correct.
I didn't think he would have lasted long. But yeah, to go to the first round was a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, and too bad for Shapo. He
Well, well,
Shapovalov. He had to catch Alcaraz. There was
he he got
no
the big
question.
dog here, so
Yeah,
he was in a tough spot, and
yeah.
it's the third round. You got the big man. The big man dispatches you quite easily, and nothing unexpected there, in my opinion. It's
But
just luck of the draw for him.
he too got further than expected. So
Yes, he showed up.
yeah, he
He
showed
did
up.
show
Yeah,
up.
and I
But
watched that game, and as you said, it just
yeah,
yeah, it just
outclassed.
outclassed for sure.
But I mean, I saw the news about Rebecca, she having to withdraw because she wasn't feeling well. So that's a bit of a
Hmm.
disappointment because the expectation is that she'd be in the final four. So
Yeah,
it's a little tough to see her pull out at this
she's
point.
the Wimbledon champ, is she? Or the
Yeah,
yeah, and she had to pull out too bad for that. They said upper respiratory illness.
yeah,
Hope
not
it's nothing
what
too
that is, but
serious. Yeah, I
it's
don't know.
who knows? Could be COVID. You never
Yeah,
know.
it could be.
But
You never know.
you just never know. But disappointing because I'd love to see her battle with the big guns there as they
Hmm.
move on, Swiatek and Sabalenka. But Sabalenka's in the news too. Well,
Yes,
she's
she
winning, but also she's in the news for other things.
she refused to go to the press conference.
Yeah, man, she
Yeah,
justified it afterwards.
yeah, she did. Yeah,
She's
I
not
mean,
feeling safe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to say because
mm,
she's under a lot of pressure. I mean, she's not fighting a war, but I mean, the journalists are after her. So she said she didn't feel safe. And the first couple of matches that she had at press conferences, they drilled her about the war, and
mhm.
which I think was a little unfortunate. So the next one, she said no.
Yeah, and I think it's like they wanted to say she denounced it or something. Like she wanted to
They
use
want to
certain
force her
words,
to
what
denounce
to
it.
say.
Yeah,
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 but
yeah.
she's got to think about herself too. And she said she's not for it already, so don't she don't have to say
Exactly.
anything else. So
Thank you. That's my opinion as well. She has already made it very clear that she's not
yeah,
for it. But I think they want to her to come out with a stronger statement,
a
and I'm not
stronger
sure why they're
statement.
pushing her to do that.
Yeah, it's really not a good thing. But yeah, and it's and the reporter was asking the question. He's from Ukraine, so
Yeah, and what do you
you know,
expect, right? He's
yeah.
pushing hard, right? And yeah, it's a little unfortunate, I must say. She's from Belarus, and she has family there, I'm sure, and they're probably all watching to see what she's going to say as well. So,
Hmm.
she's in a very, very tough spot and a very unfortunate spot. But so far, she's holding up her own on the court, which is where it really matters for this, and she's doing well. So let's see if she can
She's
keep the
around.
focus and how far she can go in
Yeah,
this one.
just some live scores on the court right now. I see Swiatek is making light work of Wang. She's 6 love in the first and one up in the second. And
Yeah,
two teenagers are battling it.
Coco.
Coco is up 4-1 in the third set.
Yeah.
Let's hope she can win it. But
Yeah, I'm feeling fairly confident in Coco winning. Just like Swiatek. I mean, I was a little worried about Swiatek and her injury coming in, but
mhm.
looking at her now, I think she'll be fine. That's the one I'm
Yeah, I
taking
think
to take
so.
the whole thing.
I think so. She'll be fine and she'll play just well. And it looked like Swiatek and Andrescu look for a showdown because Andrescu plays Sorenko next, and that game, the winner of that game gets Swiatek. So
Well, there you go. I mean, Andrescu, thanks for
it's,
showing up.
yeah,
Let's see. No, no,
let's
let's
see.
Andrescu. You never put anything past her,
Mm,
so
yeah, you
that
never
should be
know.
a really good match to watch. Swiatek against Andrescu. So let's hope
Hmm.
we get a chance to see that game.
Let's hope so. And on the men's side, for today's game so far, uh, uh, I think Rune played earlier. He beat Oliveri.
Mm-hmm.
Rude, he beat Zhang. He lost the first set, but he came back and won
Came back.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Corrick just beat
All right. You got frozen for a second, but yeah, the games are going on. Another big topic though is the Novak Djokovic. So he got in there and he started to make political statements, which I think is a
Hmm?
little unfortunate that he'll
I
come
think
to.
I lost.
Yeah, you just came back.
I
I was
came
just
back.
saying
Okay, sorry.
About Djokovic
Hmm.
and coming in with his political statements, and he's
You're
getting
right.
booed. He's under a lot of pressure from people. He said he's not backing down from his statement. But I
No.
think he should just play the game. I mean, he says he has tons of injuries, too long to talk about because there are so many. So let's just focus on being 100% on the court and leave things that should be outside the court off the court. So let's
Yeah, you
let's
should.
hope let's hope
You,
he
you
changes.
should, but he seemed to like controversy.
He
So
did say that too. He did say that.
yeah,
That's just him.
it's just him. Yeah, seems
He
that way.
loves he loves
So
Jamaicans would call it the mix up and the blender.
he mix up. Yeah.
That's him. He loves the
uh,
mix up, so he's out there mixing up.
yeah,
Which is
and
unfortunate. I mean, such a talent. Just use your talent, buddy.
yes, as you said, to mix up and the blender, nothing to do with sports really, but
Yeah.
something I saw today which shocked me. Is a Ghanaian singer, and I should ask Theo about this when some point. He's claiming that reggae is from Africa, not the Caribbean. So, Raj, I'm sure you'd have something to say about that.
Yeah, you know what? They said the first nation in the world was in Africa. So if you look at it from that point of view, maybe everything that we have in the world today comes from there, if you want to look at it that way. But
Yeah.
the genesis of reggae was not from Africa.
No, he's the Afrobeat star Stone Boy. He said it's claiming the reggae, but anyway, we'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah, that's
I
an
will get
interesting
back to
conversation,
it
which
is an interesting
some
conversation
people are
with
going to be very, very passionate about. But yeah,
yeah,
there's African music which came over to the Caribbean and it evolved. What we have as reggae is quite different from what came over. So,
it is
um,
quite different. Yeah.
so
So yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure that maybe Thea will do a program on that one evening.
maybe they will have very strong opinions about that for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
So we'll get into that later on. But back to the sports and yeah, we'll keep an eye on the French Open and I'm
Yeah,
just
before we leave French, well,
Mhm.
not the French, but before we leave tennis, so Nadal decided that
Yeah,
he's going to do the surgery. He did it
he did
this
it.
on his
Yeah.
hip. He's going to be out for over 5 months. I don't know. What are your thoughts on him coming back and being competitive enough to win another major? 'Cause I don't see it personally at his age, but
You know, I don't see it, but I don't like to say that because we all thought Tiger would never win another
that's
major.
true. And he came back and he won
He
one.
came back
So
and he won. Yeah, but
yeah,
he's out for 5 months. He finally had to do the surgery, and but when you do surgery like that, you're not the same, and it's
no,
gonna be tough.
thank you.
And these young guys playing some fantastic
Tennis.
tennis.
But even did the recovery himself. I mean, at
Yeah,
his age, he comes back. You know, how he recovers, it's not the same. If it was
it's
20, I
not
could
gonna
see
be
it
the same.
bouncing back after the 5 months. But even after the 5 months, this guy is gonna take a little while before he finds his rhythm. He's gonna be
Yeah,
by the time he's ready, he's 40.
yeah.
So,
He probably won't even play this year again. I said 5 months, but something's gonna come up again, and he will
yeah,
not be able to play.
tough because he's a real star for the game, a
He
real
is
true
very much
star.
so. Yeah, yeah. It's so sad, but let's hope he can come back.
Yes, we certainly hope so.
And Roger, I don't know if you've been following Formula One this weekend.
I try to follow. Mostly, I mean, I will say I'm a
It
tad
just
biased because I mostly follow Lewis Hamilton, but then I
yeah,
read everybody else that's happening out there. So yeah, I can see where he still hasn't signed yet, as far as I know.
oh, he
But
hasn't.
he's still battling with Mercedes, and I think he's on his knees now, begging, please, please give me a car that I can drive
Yeah,
so I can get on the podium somehow.
yeah. And the first after the first practice, he was thinking that this isn't going to work out for me.
Yeah.
He didn't even think he would get through the qualifying because he said that the car is just not responding.
Yeah, he said he's
And
gonna struggle to get into the top 10. So when a
yeah,
superstar driver is gonna say something like that, something's really wrong with the car.
yeah. So we're gonna keep an eye on the qualifying, which just started, and he's in fifth position at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, he's
Yeah,
competitive.
so he's competitive. In practice, he didn't do that well. Well, he actually ended up third in the third practice. So maybe
Yeah,
car
he's
is
coming
getting
on.
better. It's coming up. Yeah,
It's coming
yeah,
on. I mean, a lot of it
yeah.
I'll put to him, but I mean, no, he's coming on. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna be Max Verstappen and the Red Bull team.
All right.
They're just dominating. So it's just a matter of who can come third almost sometimes. So which is really
Yeah, and
tough.
Hamilton is in fifth, and that's not a good sign because Max Verstappen and London Norris and Bottas, a bunch of the guys haven't been out yet. Leclerc,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
not very good for him when these
No,
guys get out there. So, but it's just
no.
a start. So of the
Yeah.
qualifying, and
I
I'm
mean,
sure he'll do faster laps somewhere.
when you look at it at the end of the day, Hamilton is on a 30 race losing streak, which is a long time
It's a long time.
for a man with a. So he's saying he doesn't have a machine that can make him win. When even Alonso's coming out now and saying, you know what, Verstappen is ready to break all drivers' records because
Hmm.
he's gonna just keep if this doesn't change, because I think he's at 39 victories so far. He's just going to be blowing past everybody every year, so
Yeah,
it's
he's gonna be, and unless they get a better car, and
to take him
it's
on.
to take him on, it's not gonna be
No,
even his. Yeah, it's just gonna be no competition at all.
none,
So
none. So,
yeah, and yeah, I think they're gonna have to look at these. Mercedes gonna have to take a good look at their car and come with a much better design for next year if
ab-
Hamilton sticks around. If he
yeah.
doesn't stick around and go to Ferrari, I'm sure he's gonna have a lot of say in what the design is like. So,
Yes, yes. I think he's sticking around though.
but I think so. I think he will stick around. So we'll keep an eye on qualifying and give you an update before we go, as they've just started. Roger, before we got on there, we are talking a bit about the NBA Finals,
Yeah,
and no, we both said last week we thought that it was going to be 7 games. We were right.
yeah, yeah,
Miami took it. We didn't want to call it. We wanted the fans.
yeah. We never called Game 7 because it could go anyway. But I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I think it was over from the game started because Jason Tatum came out. I think he rolled his ankle or something in the first
Hmm.
quarter, and that was the game.
That
I
was it.
mean,
Yeah.
it was just Miami. It's embarrassing to go to a game 7 and be dominated and demolished like that, in my opinion. But
Hmm.
I just believe Tatum wasn't his old self because of the injury, and
Yeah.
he played, but he wasn't his old self, and the rest of the team never stepped up, and it was just a demolition for Miami.
Yeah. It was. And both now Denver and Miami, they played their first game on Thursday, and that
Yeah,
was 104-93 for Denver. And Jimmy Butler seems like when he doesn't score, Miami's just not in the game.
yeah, they ride his back really hard. I think but he loves it, right? So he likes being in that situation where he lifts his team, and But the problem is everybody knows that, although they know it, they usually can't stop him. Let's
They
see what
can,
Denver does.
yeah,
But Denver can outscore them. So and they
they
showed
can.
that. They showed that
Yeah.
in game one. As long as Jokic and Murray keeps going the way they're going, um, Denver is going to be very, very difficult to beat. I'm not saying it's a 4-0 thing here, but I'll be surprised if it goes to
More than
six.
six.
Yeah,
Because of six.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this we're going to be five, but I mean
Five.
it could go to six.
Yeah, I'll be surprised too if it goes all the way. And
Yeah,
Jamal Murray in that game, he tied the most points per Canadian player in NBA
yeah.
Finals, 26. That was
20.
held by Wiggins. So
There you
both of them
go.
had 26 in a NBA Finals. So
He's going to blow by that 26 before the series is over.
I was thinking that too. I said, you know what, that stat is gonna be just for a short while because
I
he,
know. This guy, he's from Kitchener. When he decides to go off, he goes off, and nobody can stop him either. So, I mean, I was watching him in the Lakers when he went 30 in the first half, and that was just whoa. They couldn't stop him. The
they
coach
could.
admitted they can't stop him. So, if he decides to go off on Miami, he's probably going to be in the 30s again and break the Canadian record.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, he's from Kitchener. Kitchener is doing something similar to what they do in Toronto for the Maple Leafs and Raptors. They have big screen, and
Yeah,
they're watching the games
watching the
together
games on the big screen,
in the big screen. Yeah, so the
your
mayor was
homeboys
there.
out there,
Boys,
so
yeah,
interesting,
yeah,
interesting. But yeah,
contest.
it's good to see your community rally behind you like that. It's a nice vibe. It's a nice
It
vibe.
is. And game two goes tonight at
Yeah,
8 p.m. Oh no,
I
it's
think
tomorrow actually, is it?
is it tomorrow or just tonight?
Yeah, Sunday. Game
Sunday. Yeah.
Sunday, yeah.
Denver's gonna win it again. They're gonna go 2 up.
Two
Fairly,
of
fairly confident in that. So yeah, let's see what happens next. But I think they're gonna win
them.
this game as well. So
So
not that it's gonna be a boring series because I think it's gonna be exciting. But I think they're gonna win game two.
and I agree with you. I think it's going to be a boring finals. It's unfortunately, but that's how I see it. Yeah, and hockey. Have you been keeping up with the hockey? Because
Yeah,
you
but before I get
know,
to hockey, I wanted to talk about the Raptors, right?
oh no,
Because
yeah, no,
Nick Nurse, right? He
he's
got
come,
fired. Now
he got
he's
fired.
76ers
Yeah,
head coach.
yeah,
You know, they're hoping he can do the same thing with them that he did with the Raptors. But then you realize his assistant, Adrian Griffith, he's now going to go to the Bucks as head coach. So it's like Nurse is gone, Griffith is gone. So these guys are still in demand, although the Raptors don't need them anymore. So
yeah.
it's going to be interesting to see how well they do. But kudos to them. I mean, they had a good setup here when they won the championship, and these two worked really well together and were successful. So let's see if they can make a difference where they're going now.
It's gonna be interesting to see how they do. I saw the super fan Rab Bav, what's his name?
Yeah,
Rab. Yeah,
yeah.
he was taking pictures with Nick Nurse as he was leaving, and he says once a Raptor, always a
The
Raptor. But he wished
Raptor.
him he wished him luck in Philly. But he
Yeah,
says
yeah.
he's always gonna be a Raptor for sure.
At the end of the day, it's true because you know what he made the Raptors
He did,
because he
yeah.
won the
Won the
championship.
championship, yeah.
You can't beat that.
And a lot of people were surprised. In fact, I saw I can't remember which an NBA player, but one of the players came out the other day and says that too often the people in the back office don't take the responsibility of making bad choices with their picks
There you go.
and blame the coaches when they lose. So
Very true. Very,
yeah,
very true. Very, very true.
yeah. So yeah,
We'll see how they do in their new roles, which is pretty cool. Yeah, the NHL is on tonight, game one.
game one, yes, Florida and Vegas.
So I think these two teams are fairly similar. Very tough. Nothing passes them. They very tenacious. I believe this is going to be a tough, tough final. Um, I can't even call it. Normally, I'll have an opinion.
All right,
I mean, I'm going to lean towards Florida because it's Florida. But at the end of the day, these are two scrappy, very scrappy teams.
scrappy, yeah.
Very scrappy. So anything can turn. And with hockey, it's just a bounce here, a bounce there. So, they've been
Yeah,
getting the bounces and they are where they are because of that. But this is not going to be an easy championship for any one of them.
no, it's not going to be easy. And Yeah, I don't want to call it myself. I think I'll just watch it and enjoy and see whoever
Yes,
wins.
yes.
Kudos. So I'm gonna stay on the fence on this one.
On this one, well, the funny thing is, I think the games are going to be tight, but I don't think I like watching skilled players, right? So that's why I don't
Right.
mind even the Maple Leafs. Sometimes you see the skilled players doing their thing. I don't think you're gonna get a lot of that in this finals. I think it's just a lot of toughness. You're gonna
Hmm.
get a lot of fighting, a lot of doing what you got to do type of thing. But yeah, who knows? There may be flashes of brilliance here or there. So I'm hoping that we can get a few of those.
You can't think of any player that's gonna be stand out and say, "Hey, this is gonna be
Yeah, maybe Kachuk from Florida.
Kachak." Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think he has showed that he can show up where it matters. So I'm going to see if he can continue doing that. And he's a good
Yeah,
player, very solid player.
yeah, and that's right. He's enjoying the role of being, the face of the team. So,
Yeah, they brought him in
um,
for that. He took it on
yeah,
and he embraced it, and it's working out really well for both of
yeah.
them.
So Florida, yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll keep an eye on the NHL and keep you updated on what's happening there.
for sure.
And when we left last week, we talked a bit about that we were discussing the IPL finals, the two teams who would
Yeah,
be there, how it would go, etc. And I was so disappointed because Sunday I got ready to watch the finals, and I think it's the only game that I can recall that got rained out.
I know.
And so you had to wait for another day,
Yeah,
and then even that was affected by rain, so you did not get a full game. But in the end, the team that I wanted to win, they came out on top. So I'm not too disappointed at
I
all
know.
that
I know.
you
I know.
know
Mr. Gill couldn't take them through, eh?
Gil could not take them. So he batted well. He
He
started
did.
off well,
Yeah,
but
he gave it a shot. He did give
he
it a
gave it a
shot,
shot. He
but
did.
yeah, I was just saying maybe he could lift them to the trophy, but not this time.
No, not at all. And the with the IPL with Dhoni around, anytime you have Dhoni in any team,
Yeah,
you always know that's going to be an advantage because of his experience.
yeah,
And
yeah.
he seems like a type of guy who can motivate players and get them to do the things that he wants them to do. So
Very true.
I
A
think,
good leader, a good cricketer. I mean, I
yeah.
see people in some places started to compare him to Tom Brady. Not sure if they should do that, but
I saw people doing that, but
it's
I
like,
don't
okay,
think.
he's going to play until he's 50 and keep. I don't know. He's going to be the grandpa out there. I don't know. But you know what? It's probably a decent comparison to have because he's been around for a bit and he's been very successful.
Yeah, he has been successful, and I don't. And you know what? Yeah, he hasn't said he's gonna retire,
No,
so
it
you
hasn't even
never
come up.
know. He
It
hasn't
hasn't
come up.
even come
No.
up. So I was like, okay, maybe he wants to hang around for a bit.
Yeah, maybe he wants to stick around and say, "Hey, I'm gonna play some more." So
Yeah.
maybe, maybe they can compare him to Tom Brady in terms of longevity, but
Yeah,
that's
longevity. Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's the main thing, the longevity. Well, being effective at his age as well, because
Effective at his age. Yeah,
he
he's
is effective at his age.
yeah. So IPL's done and dusted. Now there's going to be focus. The Indian team already in England focusing
Okay,
on the upcoming World Test Championship, and that Test World Test Championships, I don't know how to call it between India and Australia. A good matchup, but I am not sure I can say that one team has an advantage, especially like how it's on neutral ground.
it's neutral. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that match starts this week, Wednesday.
Hmm.
And David Warner is in. He wants to play. People are talking about whether or not he's going to be in the starting 11. All the experts are giving their starting 11s.
11s. I know. I know.
And India saying that probably play two fast bowlers and two spinners. But I know in England most of the time, because the ball swing about so much, you
It
go
swings.
at least three.
Yeah, yeah. It swings a lot over
And
there.
I'm sure Australia is going to go with four fast bowlers,
Hmm.
or
Hmm.
three and an all-rounder at least. So
Correct.
the
Correct.
mashups are going to be interesting to see.
Very, very interesting matchup. I don't know. It's a tough one to call. Um, normally I would say India and December. But I mean, Australia's been so competitive now that I believe that they can do something. I see Warner saying he's gonna retire after the next two
Yes,
series. So
he said
maybe
he's going to retire.
if he gets a chance here, he's gonna go out with a blaze of glory. So people like that can be dangerous in the last times they come up. But
Hmm.
Labashani, that guy can score.
Oh yeah, he can score runs as well, and he
He's
says it's a lot
anxious.
of cricket. Yeah,
Yeah, as you say, bouncing off the walls right now to get this started. So that could make it very dangerous for Australia against India.
yeah, him and Smith, those two, if they get going, it's gonna
Yeah,
be difficult
very
for
very difficult.
India in those
Yeah,
conditions. At home, India would say yes, give them the edge, but
correct.
in England on a neutral ground,
It's
I
gonna be.
can't say it's them.
Although it's neutral, as sort of give a little edge to Australia in terms of
Yes,
familiarity with the ground, more over India. So let's see.
yeah, for sure. Quickly, Barbados completed a double by in the T20 Blaze.
Or the women T20.
The women T20, yeah, they were brilliant. They won their games and they're unbeaten in both
I
championships. And
notice. I notice.
yeah,
That's dominance there.
but the game that stood out for me, Raja, and I made some inquiries. I called some friends in St. Kitts and asked them what's going on because Trinidad, Guyana were bowled out for 39 and defended against Trinidad and beat them. And they batted 20 overs.
It's very difficult to explain unless someone money was being paid in the background. I don't know
I
why.
don't know.
I don't even see how that is even possible.
I asked the question. I asked them, was the pitch bad? And they said no, bad batting. One guy swore to me that nothing was wrong. It was a pitch. It was a perfect pitch for batting, but I couldn't believe that for that
Yep,
kind of result. So
39 and defended.
39, and then Trinidad got bowled out for 38, so one run exactly short. So
Yeah,
that to
and
me looked a little
it's
suspicious.
very, very fishy. It walks like a duck, talks like a duck. I think it is a duck.
Yeah,
So let's see. You can't push it out there because it's very difficult to tell someone that this is what happened, but it really doesn't look good at this professional level. You score
that was
39
the
and defend it.
that was the only game out of the three. 'Cause all the other games had decent scores,
Of
so
course,
that's
yeah.
why I wondered if that pitch was underprepared or something. But
Yeah.
I guess not, according to reports. So can
It
only
is
go
one of
with
those, is what it is, but I mean, it
yeah.
doesn't look so good.
No,
Just
not
from
at
the
all.
outside. From the outside, it
Not
doesn't look
from the
good.
outside, no. And good news for West Indies, eh? They won the series against Bangladesh, eh? A good 1-0. So that's second test match that they won. And the captain for the West Indies, De Silva, he got to lift the trophy. So,
Yeah.
but Sri Lanka, I mean Bangladesh in the final test, they finally showed some guts and they were chasing over 400 and they
400.
ended up on 306 for four. So
Which is a little disappointing from the West Indian side of things, but
yes,
it was good to see Bangladesh show up, and maybe it was just a good pitch. But the batsmen did fairly well for West Indies, eh?
did.
De Silva actually batted really well
Hmm.
from his position, so it was good to see Shanda Paul as well. So some guys showed up, which is very promising.
Yeah, some of them did. And Chanderpaul, I think Mackenzie was a good find. He didn't have a great last test, but I think in the
No,
first two tests,
he did well
he's
in the
young,
first
so
two.
he'd be learning, and I think he did very
Yeah,
well.
very
So
promising, very
yeah,
promising.
the other game going on now is more like a mismatch, but
It is a mismatch.
Ireland and England.
They're neighbors,
Ireland,
so it's always maybe a mismatch on paper. The
yeah,
passion and the energy that they both bring to this, it's a very important game.
it's a very important game for sure. And the one-off test, and Ireland bowled out this 177 in the 172 in the first innings,
Yeah.
and England replied with 524 for four, 205 for Ollie Pope, and 182 for Duckett. And I saw a stat Duckett in his last 10 test matches, he's only left 8 balls alone. So he's a
Wow.
very aggressive player.
Whoa. That's
Yeah,
a serious stat there. Not even Chris Gale
yeah.
had that type of stat.
Not
So,
even no, not even Chris Gale, and this is Test cricket, so you should
well,
know. We had
interesting.
it, yeah, but Ireland putting up a bit of a fight in this second innings after being put back in 337 for seven, but they're still behind by 19. They still have
Yeah.
some work to do, and England will probably want to bat again, but England will certainly win this Test
Oh
match.
yeah, for sure. Easy. Easy,
Yeah,
easy.
and Ireland actually, England probably sending a message because when you look at the bowling lineup, it's some. new guys. Josh Tongue, Matthias Potts, Stuart
Mm.
Broad is the only one there.
Oh,
Joe Root has been doing a bit of bowling.
oh,
I
really?
don't. Yeah, yeah, yes. And I don't know if you heard about the bet that there's a gentleman who saw 11-year-old Josh Tongue and bet £100 that this kid will play Test cricket for England, and
Really?
he made his debut in this match, and he claimed £50,000. So not a bad bet.
Wow. That's an. I mean, took a few years to wait on it,
It
but
took a
fifty
few
thousand
years, but
pounds
yeah, fifty
or
thousand
100.
pounds. Yeah, yeah,
Maybe I should be going to the fields and finding some guy and say, "Oh, you're going to be an Olympian, or
yeah.
you're going to be playing Test
Exactly.
cricket," and put $100 in it because wow,
I
it's a
I
good
think
return.
I think if we'd bet on a couple of those Olympians, like the young Blake and those guys, we'd
Oh yeah,
probably be
be rich,
millionaires.
be very rich right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Just quickly, some news and notes. Cricket West Indies announced a match schedule and venue for the women's home series against Ireland.
hmm
The matches will play in St. Lucia. Two T20s on the 26th. T, yeah, three T20s, sorry,
hmm
and three one-day internationals
Oh dear,
from June 26th to 8th of July. So,
coming up at the end of the
and
month.
the coaches have made the decision on their coaching staff.
I saw that. I
And
saw that.
Sammy will have his test starting tomorrow as they start the series against UAE. And
Mm.
he's got within Carl Hooper, Floyd Reefer, a bit of a surprise on Reefer,
Yeah,
and
but both
James
of them
Franklin.
actually, because I wasn't.
Hooper, I didn't think was going to be interested, but I was shocked
Not only that, I mean, well, we haven't heard about Hooper for a very, very, very,
for
very
a
long
long
time.
time. Yeah.
So it's like he's coming out of the woodworks.
Yeah,
It's
he lives in
crazy.
Australia, actually.
Yeah, he's pretty much Australian now. So
Yeah,
I was a little surprised to see, yeah, him accepting.
for sure. The white ball, a bit one surprise, I think. Kenny Benjamin, well, he was there last time with Ryan Griffin and last but Stuart Williams coming back in as a batting coach, a bit of a surprise. He's been there before, and I'm surprised that he came back in as a coach. But maybe Andre Coley feels comfortable working with Stuart, and
That's my only
it's in the key.
guess.
That's the
That's
only guess, yeah.
yeah. I don't think. Well, I'm not knocking him. I don't think he should be there, but I mean, he's there, so
Well,
at least that
yeah,
doesn't justify how he got there. And
that's
yeah,
so true. And as you mentioned earlier, David Warner talks about his retirement, and he wants to retire on his home ground, the STG, next year in the
yeah,
next
yeah.
year's test against Pakistan. So we will see if Australia gives him that honor and plays him in that test. So
We can only hope that they do. I mean, he's represented them really well. So let's give him that. Let's give him that.
yeah, he has. So that's it for me, Roger, with cricket.
I had a
Unless you
couple
have
cricket
anything
questions
else
for
on
you.
cricket,
So yeah,
yeah.
so I think the president of Cricket West Indies came out early in the week and said, in very short order, we're going to make an announcement as to what's happening with Jimmy Adams.
Oh yeah,
And then a few days later, Jimmy Adams say, "Oh, I am quitting. I'm leaving." It's like, okay,
his
did he get
contract is up.
fired, England? I know you have all the background
His
information.
contract, his
It's supposed.
contract is up the end of June, and they're not going to renew it.
I think that's what they told him, and he just
That's
quit
what they
instead of
told him and
yeah,
quit. But instead of
yeah,
getting him to fire him, yeah, they
yeah,
just give him an opportunity to leave gracefully, I think. But
yeah.
one of my friends actually texts me and says, "Listen, Jimmy spends most of his time in Canada, so I guess
You
he's
know,
going to be coming to help you guys."
who knows? Yeah,
Who
that would be
knows?
good. I'd
Yeah,
love to meet him and have
yeah.
a long talk with him.
His mom
He's
lives
very.
here, so he spends a lot of time. He was here last summer, I thought, when we hosted an international tournament. So
Yeah, you
he's
had
been
mentioned
around.
that. You
Yeah,
mentioned that. And the one coming up, maybe he's going to be hanging around for that too. So
maybe
who
he's going to
knows?
be hanging around. We have under 19 coming up, but
Yeah, I'd love
that
to.
one I'm not too surprised because since last year I was having some discussions with some people in West Indies cricket, and they were talking about it's time for Jimmy to move on.
Yeah, a lot of people
So
are saying that, and I think it
yeah,
was Red Pereira said he was there for like no Andy Roberts who said
Andy Roberts, yeah,
said he's in a joyride.
and then Viv Richards recently came out and spoke out against him. So,
Yeah, time for him to go.
but the rumors that there's going to be Bascom, the former selector, is going to take the position, but they're advertising for it. So
Wow,
if it turns out that Bascom gets the position after it's been advertised, then something is flawed in the system.
very flawed. And I mean, with West Indies cricket, you can't be too surprised if that's what's going on in the background. But that's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
it
And as we
is.
talk a little bit about West Indies cricket, I mean, I saw Sarwan coming out, and I can see Sarwan from
against Sammy. Against
yeah,
yes,
Sammy. Yeah, so he's supporting Chanda Paul. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, he's saying, how is this even possible? The man doesn't even have a level 3 coaching certificate, right?
I
So how could you? You don't have a long lineup of victories that you can say, I did this, I did that. You're not certified, but yet still the man that has the victories, Chanda Paul, and the certification, didn't get it.
yeah, but I think West Indies is thinking more or less that Sammy is more of they want somebody who's more of a manager type of role, like who can get people together, and
That's
that's what they think Sammy's role. But I agree, Sammy's. I don't think you're gonna see Sammy out there hitting too many balls and hitting catches and that kind of stuff. I
yeah.
think you're gonna see Sammy in the background doing his thing, talking to them, and I think he is gonna try to act more like a motivator to the team than a coach. So I don't know if he has any coaching certificates. I'll be surprised if he don't. But he
They said
made
he doesn't. According to Sarwan, he doesn't.
right, but and he made a statement that he said he didn't go look for coaching. Coaching found him.
And he said that when he became captain as well. I mean,
Yeah,
they put
so
him in the deep end and he decided to swim and he became two-time champion. So he believes he can do it
so
again. We'll see. I mean, this is one of those that I think we just gotta sit on the sidelines and see if it works. If it works, they look like really smart people. If it doesn't work, though,
then
it's not going to be a good look on Cricket West Indies. It goes back to what people think it is, a friend and company thing.
there's
Just
some
like
people
just like what you
saying
mentioned, Bascom.
yes, exactly. There's some people saying that you're gonna see just like how you have the English, England have their baseball.
Yeah.
You're gonna see West Indies start to play sandball.
Oh boy,
So, so I don't
Look,
know.
looking forward to that one.
Yeah, because Brendan McCullum didn't have any experience and he's doing a good job with England. So they're saying the
Yeah,
same way that he didn't have his experience, Sammy's gonna do something special. And I think a lot
yeah,
of talk is about Franklin, James Franklin, the New
yeah.
Zealander, and a lot of people in the Caribbean are not happy. And
I was surprised. I
yeah,
wouldn't know if I should be happy or not happy, but I was quite surprised that he got called.
yeah, the decisions didn't look some good ones.
No, it's coming out of. There's no foundation for the decisions. I'm thinking, but I mean, yeah, Sammy, you can talk it through and say maybe he's there to lead more than anything else, not because of his certification or his qualifications, but he's a guy that people respect and he can motivate. So that's what he's there for. May
Yeah,
work, may not work, but everybody else is like, how did you get called? Like, what? Who? Franklin?
exactly.
Who
But
are you
Darren
again?
Sammy, and then the other thing with Darren Sammy getting the position, there's people asking if there's a conflict because he was current director of West Indies
I
cricket.
know, I know.
So there's a lot to we can do a whole show on that.
And that's the whole Sammy thing,
Yeah, I
but
know. Yeah,
he's saying people don't sleep on him. People this, people say that, people, and he's going to prove them wrong. So
let's
at least
so
he's getting a chance to do so.
yeah, we've got about 22 minutes left, Roger, to
Yeah,
go.
for
And
sure.
I know you have stuff to talk about track and field because even for me, unless
Yeah,
you have anything else, last week I took your advice. I stayed inside,
yeah,
watched the track and field, and then three new no shows.
yeah. I was just, talk about not happy. I
Yeah,
was just not happy. So the LA Grand Prix went off. Yeah, well, as it says, Los Angeles last
mm,
weekend, and the big thing about this meet was Shakari Richardson. She's going to take on Mary Jose Talou and Aliyah Hobbs,
I mean,
and
yeah,
they all came out, ran the heats, and everyone was pumped for the finals. In the finals, Talou didn't show up, Hobbs didn't show up, and Shakari said she felt cramps in the warm up, so she didn't show up either. So they all look good in the heats coming through, look great
yeah,
running fast times coming through, and the three main athletes for the entire meet. I mean, you talk about star power. That's the star power for the meet, and the three of them chose not to show up. It was just a
yeah,
black eye, in my opinion. And it's
yeah.
like the race was run and somebody won it, but it's like who cares? Who knows?
I don't even remember who went.
There you go. There you go. And that's the
Yeah,
unfortunate thing about it. It was Mirror Lake Akanusen,
yeah.
1097. Melissa Jefferson was second, and the young Jamaican teenager Alana Reid third, 11.08. But I mean, it was just so disappointing. It did not the stuffing out of me, I must say. It was a good meet for a track and field enthusiast like myself. But at the end of the day, man, it's an embarrassment to track and field because this meet was promoted,
It
really
was.
promoted as the game changer and the this and the back. Track and field is coming back to the States and everybody's going to jump on board. And, they call Sidney McCloughan and she doesn't show up. They call that thing Mo and she doesn't show up. And people just start pulling out left, right, and center. And then these three are the only real big names left and they didn't run the final. So very, very, very disappointing, I must say. But as you mentioned, the meet went on and there were some good races. We saw young Akeem Blake from Jamaica. He
Yeah.
stormed to a brand new personal best of 9.89 as he ran past Mr. Christian
With
Coleman.
Coleman, yeah.
Yeah, at the line. So it's second was Cravan Charleston and 991 in a personal best. Christian Coleman, same time. So it was a 989 to 991, 991. So a very interesting 100-meter race on the men's side. And kudos to Blake for his personal best and dropping down into the 9.8s. The meet also was a great meet because we saw some records being broken, right? So the big one,
Hmm.
of course, was Ryan Krauser. An amazing guy. I met him in Oregon last year, and truly nice guy. He broke the shot put world record with a sensational 23:56 meters. So he was the owner of that world record, and now he has broken it again. So kudos to him. It's always fascinating to see world records happening at a meet, and he has done it. On the women's side, we saw Cameron Rogers, who just left college and the number one Canadian, third at the World Championships. She won the hammer's throw with a Canadian record of 78.62 on her final attempt, and that moves her up to fifth on the world all-time list. So kudos to Cameron Rogers. She's going to make some noise this year, and she was looking extremely good in that hammer throw. On the female side, 400 meters, for me, that is a very exciting race because I wanted to see sort of one of my favorites, although she's a little fishy in terms of getting banned for whereabouts. But Salwa Eid Nasser was back on track, and she ran 50.27 and looked decent for someone coming back after 2 years off the track to be second behind none other than Marilita Paulina. And
Hmm.
Paulina ran 48.98. Now, it's a very long time since someone has broken the 49-second barrier. So kudos to her. Dominican Republic, 48.98, Paulina. And a lot of people want to see her tackle Sidney McCloughan and the Brittany Wilsons of the world. So let's see how the 400 go this year. Femke Ball may be in there as well. So we may see some really fast times, 400 meters. If so early in May, you're having a 48. Let's see how low they go. But for me, it was good to see Salwa Eid Nasser back. 50.27 is not chicken feed. So it's a good time. We also saw Kirana James, one of those guys. He's been a star since I've heard his name from he's
Hmm.
a kid, from like 12, and world champion, Olympic silver medalist, Olympic bronze medalist. So he has all the three colors for the 400 meters in the Olympics. And he was leading that 400-meter race until the last 5 meters, and he got run down by a young Jamaican, Sean Bailey,
Yeah.
who not a lot of people know him. A lot of people know him because of his sister, which is just so unfortunate, but he's Veronica Campbell Brown's brother.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's known for being VC's
Yeah.
brother. But yeah, he's making his own name now, and he won in a lifetime best, big PB for him, 44-43, to beat Kirana James there in LA
Yeah, I
last
watched
week.
it. It was a good race, actually.
It
And
was a
I
good,
was
good race.
wondering, did Karani James, did he come out too quickly?
I
Because,
think I think a little. It wasn't his no, in my opinion, it wasn't his normal pace in that first 200. I think he pushed it a little more than normal.
okay.
But it's
Yeah.
early in the season, so I'm thinking, maybe he's just figuring out his race. But yeah, he did look like he came out a little too hard compared to how I usually. He's usually more measured than that, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
You know, maybe he's trying something new. Maybe that's what his program is telling him. So he took a shot at it. But I think if they meet again 5 more times this year, Kiran is probably going to beat him. But let's let's see
It
how
was
that
just his
goes.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, it was his day, and he got caught. So yesterday was the Rome Diamond League. And for me, I think I mentioned a few times that I love this young lady, Faith Kipyegon.
Yeah.
I One of the few people that I go to watch 1500-meter races for because she's just truly amazing. And I watched the race yesterday, and INGLE, a world record. Gen Z Baba was brilliant when she ran the 350. Kipyegon is now there, 349, the first female to break 350. And it's a huge performance. It was spine tingling just watching her do it. 349.11 to win that
One.
1500 meters. Kudos to her. Well deserved. She has a 5-year-old daughter, so you can imagine that little kid bouncing off the wall, seeing her
Happy.
mom do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was awesome to watch. So kudos to her. So if you notice, I'm talking about world records, Canadian records,
One.
records just flying all over the place. I tell you, Ingle. Over there in Rome, the 100 meters women was won by Talou. She couldn't run it in LA for whatever
Really?
reason, but she's in Rome and she did 10:97 to win. Fred Curley, though, and I think this is becoming a conversation now because he's getting arrogant, he's getting cocky, he's getting
Yes.
confident. When he wins now, he tells them, "This is my field, this is my place," and all of that stuff. So he's talking up a lot and he's looking unbeatable. He won again, 9.94. Omanyala from Kenya was second, 10.05. Trayvon Bomel third, 10.09. Simbini fourth, 10.09. So a close race behind him, but he's
Behind.
gone. He's gone. I don't know what the transition
Curly.
to me was a shocker when he moved from 400 to 100, and I thought it was an experiment, but this looks like it's a serious move. I mean, what are your thoughts on this guy becoming?
He's become a great sprinter. He's become very cocky, as you said. He's like maybe he's confident. Maybe he
It
thinks he's
is,
cocky. Maybe he's just confident. He knows. Maybe when he's training, he knows what he's doing. So
yeah, maybe.
he's just so confident, and I don't think that he's gonna be beaten that easily this year.
I don't know who's going to beat him at this point in time. I really don't know. I mean, it's
And
early, but he's dominant.
I thought
He's
if anyone was gonna push him, maybe Amaniala would, but
yeah. It's not. It's
twice he's
twice
beaten
now.
him, right? Yeah,
Twice. So, let's see what Noah Lyles and Christian Coleman have to say about this when the time comes. But at this point in time, I don't know. He's looking like the man,
he's
like
looking.
truly
Yeah,
looking like the man. So, let's see if he continues like that. Young
Jacobs may
area,
have something to say later on, maybe.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
For sure.
Meanwhile, young Arian Knighton, USA as well, he won the 200 meters, 19.89. So he's not looking too bad, defeating Trinidad's
Hmm.
Jerry Richards, 20.28, and Canada's Aaron Brown, 20.31. Grant Holloway found a way to win the 110 hurdles in 13.04, looking really good. And world champion, he tends to shorten really badly in his last 10 meters of the race. He did it again, but he was had enough to win this one. Well, one of my favorite athletes, and it's going to be interesting to see what she does this year. Femke Bal from the
Oh,
Netherlands.
yeah.
She took the 400-meter hurdles in a very fast 52.43, and 53 was seconds. So, she's way ahead of them. 54 was like third. So, different races, she was gone. She was gone. I'm looking for that matchup between her and Sydney McLaughlin later this year. Interesting times over there in Rome yesterday. But last weekend, as you mentioned, Fred Curley won over there in Rabat, first the Diamond League, and he was ahead of Simbini at 999 and Amaniala 1005. While let's see Tobago from World Junior Under 20 champion, he was 1009. Trayvon Romel 10.10. So Curley again won the race, and then there's a
Hmm.
bang up finish behind him. People battling for second and third, but he's gone, and that was what happened over there in Rabat as well. We also saw Sharika Jackson. She came out and she's, won her first Diamond League race for the year, looking really good. A seasonal best, meeting record 21.98, and she's still talking world record. Ingle.
She's still young.
She's talking it. I don't know. Are you feeling it too?
Not yet, but she's getting into form. She's gone
Yeah,
below 20, 22, so
yeah,
she's getting into that. I think she's probably looking to peak at the right time, but world record, I'll be happy if she can do it because she's one of my
yeah,
favorite,
yeah. I know.
sprinters.
I'm gonna put my neck out there and say she's gonna do it this year. She will break it.
And probably because if Shakari and Elaine and everyone is running well,
Yeah,
they're gonna push each other,
yeah,
and
for
she
sure.
probably can do that for sure.
She will. I think she will. Not sure when. Not sure if it's going to happen in Budapest. I actually think it may happen before, but let's see how she does. But I think she's ready for it this year. Her program is pointing to it, and I think she's going to do it. She's locked in on it, so I think she's going to do it. But let's see if I'm right on that one. We also saw Commonwealth champion Rashid Broadbell from Jamaica. He defeated Grant Holloway in the hurdles there, 110 hurdles, 13.08 to 13.12. Again, Holloway was leading by almost a full hurdle, and then he just
Hmm.
shortened really badly. So always sad to see him almost stopping on the races. Meanwhile, Olympic champion in the 400 meters, Stephen Gardner from the Bahamas, he won at 400 meters pretty easily, winning the 44.70. Last week we spoke a little bit about the multi championships over there in Gotsis, and you did mention about Lepage, and I was like, no, 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 he's leading now, but I mean, Damien Warner is going to beat him.
Right.
But now I'm eating humble pie because Damien
Yeah,
Warner could not beat him. So
yeah, Lepage won. And they
Lepage,
ended up,
yeah,
I was surprised because Damon won, I know his favorite normally.
yeah, he has
And
won it 7 times already, going for number 8.
yeah, and he's Canadian number one,
He's a
so
Canadian, he's Olympic champion,
he's
Canadian
Olympic
world,
champion.
Canadian record holder, everything.
Yeah.
Lapage has always been his number 2, so it's been interesting to see this young man from Whitby. He's a tall guy. I've been around him a couple of times, and he's quite tall. I think he's like 6'6" or so, but lanky, not very big in terms of body, but slim. But he knows what he's doing out there in the multi events now, and
Hmm.
he won 8,700 points. I mean, don't get me wrong, Damon Warner won the Olympics with over 9,000. This is
Right.
8,700, so it's a bit more. But he won. So give him credit for where credit is due. Kudos to him. Canada went 1-2, so it was Lepage first, Damien Warner second. On the women's side, and this young lady is sensational in my opinion. And it's going to be interesting to see when she tackles Taim over this heptathlon. But it was Anna Hall from the US. She was big last year winning the NCAAs. But the biggest thing about it was that she ran the 800 meters of the heptathlon, and then like half an hour later, she went out and she ran the 400-meter hurdles race. So she's a very tough kid, and she won 6,988 points, fifth best performer in history, and a lot is on her shoulders. And I think they're promoting her, and I think she's going to do really, 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 really well. So let's see how it matches up later on in the year. Anna Hall versus Thiem from Belgium, the world champion, Olympic champion. It's going to be very, very interesting between those two. So coming up today is the Racers Grand Prix in Jamaica. You got Noah Laz down there. You got Christian
Yeah.
Coleman down there. So let's see how the Jamaican crowd reacts to those two. Um, Unfortunately, Oblique Seville, who everyone expected to beat Coleman in the 100, and Akeem Blake beat him last week, and they both pulled out.
Hmm.
Blake said the race took a little out of him, and he's feeling fatigued. Seville has an injury, so we will see how that one goes tonight. It's on One Spot Media for those who want to watch it and live. In some news and notes, I think we touched on it a little, so I won't dwell too much on it. But the problem of marketing a sport where the big stars do not compete, because that was the article that came out right after the LA Grand Prix. So many people pulled out. It was marketed as the game changer. No one showed up. But we do see Mr. Usain Bolt, and I think they use the wrong words here, but I think he's keen instead of they saying desperate. But they said he's
Right.
desperate to play a role in reviving the sport that made him a global superstar. So I don't know. You think he can come in there and do something, Ingle, to change how people feel about this sport?
I think so. He's a face that everybody recognizes and worldwide, and he's got the personality to go with it too. So I
Agreed.
think Usain Bolt can come in and make a big difference because he keeps saying that the track and field needs a star. So maybe
Yeah, it needs something.
he's something. Maybe he's that game changer, as I said, to bring it back to where it was. Because he not only just competed. Like, if you look at videos, past videos with him, and the mark that he left by just
Yeah,
even giving a high five to the people taking the clothes, the ones
close.
who helped
Yeah,
him behind.
yeah, yeah.
So all that helped a lot.
It did. You know what? He not only dominated on the track, he represented the sport wherever he was. So,
Yeah.
in a great way. When he was out there, as you said, he interacted with anybody. Anybody could feel close to him. As I've mentioned, he's the biggest superstar in the world. And when you go around the Jamaican team, he's one of the easiest ones to get access to, which is
Right.
always surprising to me. You see some of them there and they look at you funny, and he's just open to say hi to anyone and talk to them. So I think he can play a major role if given the opportunity. He's talking to World Athletics, and hopefully they find some way to get him involved so he can play a role in this. I really
Right.
really hope so. The
Okay.
other thing I wanted to talk about quickly is Chris Taylor from Jamaica, 400-meter runner, high school legend in track and field, from Calabar. He's in trouble with integrity units because they said he evaded, not missed,
Faded. Yeah.
he evaded a test. So the tester showed up at his place at the time specified between 6 and 7 in the morning. Apparently, he had an 8 o'clock flight, He could not pass P before he left, so the tester went with him to the airport, and even at the airport, he still couldn't pass P for some reason. He couldn't find a way to muster up some
Mhm.
P, drink some water and muster up a P. He couldn't do it, and it so happens that he said, you know what? What is the big? Apparently, this is what happened. I don't know how true it is. He said to the tester, "What's the biggest thing that can happen to me if I don't do this test?" And he said the tester told him that it would be a mistest. And he says,
Okay.
"Okay, then bye bye." And he went on the plane and he flew off.
Mm.
Now, I'm not sure what the tester is saying, but that's not true. The tester is with him, and the tester can be with him for 4 hours. He didn't produce the P. He walked away from it, so he evaded it, and he's getting now banned maybe 2 to 4 years. So it's going to
Wow.
be until next Friday. Let's see what comes out of it. But for all the young kids out there, know the rules, follow the rules, adhere to the rules. This was just a ridiculous piece of nonsense that he's gotten himself into, and I think it's gonna hurt him because I don't see how he's gonna win this case.
Right. That's not good. Yeah.
Not good for this young man.
For no, just bad information. I just say learn the rules and what you need to do and get
Uh-huh.
it done. Maybe you
Get
should
it
have
done.
drunk. Maybe don't know if you drink beer. Maybe you may should have had a beer too.
You need to have drink. Yeah. It's 8 in the morning. Whatever you need to do, just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't beat the testers. I mean, they have to get their
Exactly.
sample. They're here for the sample, and they're not leaving without it. So
That's
I
so
don't
true.
know. Quickly
As
with
we,
soccer.
yeah,
We
we've
have
got
like 2 minutes.
4 minutes, but we don't want to go without touching soccer. So yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
quick talk about soccer. So Messi is almost confirmed. Today
Done.
will be his final game for Paris Saint-Germain. I'm not sure where he's going. So it's 2 years of failure from a Champions League point of view, but victories from winning the French titles. Sergio Ramos from Spain is also leaving. So Paris Saint-Germain is losing Messi, Ramos, and maybe Neymar. So
Maybe not. Yeah,
Mbappe's all alone over there as a superstar.
for sure. Well, there's an article this morning saying that Messi is going to Al Hilal in the Saudi league, and
Yeah.
that they're going to be offering him 400 million.
I wouldn't be surprised because the article
Yes.
came out that they said they're creating a huge fund to sign global stars. So
Yeah.
they're going to find a way to pay him whatever he wants. He's going to get.
Exactly. He will get
So
whatever he wants.
I would
So
not be surprised if you see the Saudi league with Messi and Ronaldo over there.
that's so true. Quick update to Manchester one, which sorry, Manchester one, Manchester one. So at halftime.
So we're talking about the big game today: Manchester City versus Manchester United. I think INGLE is a little behind the scenes Manchester City guy. I can get the feeling that's the way he said that 1-1. But as you know, I'm a United fan, so go Man U! This is your FA Cup today. Let's see what happens in the second half. But a huge, huge game
Yeah,
for me
huge game.
personally.
Yeah, it's gonna be a huge game for sure. And unfortunately, we won't be here at the end, but
Yeah,
one of the Manchesters will win.
somebody from Manchester is going to win this
Yeah.
one, and it's
Uh,
going to be the red Manchester, not blue one.
okay, we'll see that. Quickly an update. Tennis. Swiatek won, no surprise. Six love,
There you
six
go.
love, and Coco Gauff came back from a set down to win 6-1, 6-1. So
Yeah,
she's through to the next round as well. So
tennis is
that
hard up. It's getting
and
there, England. It's getting there. Next week we'll be talking about who is winning the French.
yes, for sure, we'll be talking about that next week. So we've come to the end of the show, and thanks to all the persons who are listening from all over the world. And I saw a pop up as we were doing that said someone was listening from Tanzania.
Awesome,
Yeah,
awesome. We're
so
gonna reach out to our African
we have to
brothers and
reach out to,
sisters.
yes, for sure. So for wherever you're in the world,
Yes,
enjoy the rest of your day, whether it be morning, night, evening, whatever it is. Stay safe.
and have a wonderful weekend, everyone.